Hi there and welcome back to the Franknet YouTube channel. Today we're going to have a look at one of my favourite things in the shop, and this is the Overlockers. This particular one, the Juki MO-654DE, I think is one of the gems of the shop really. It's a really sturdy little overlocker, quite compact as well, doesn't take up too much space, has got an easy lower looper threader as well to aid the threading, because a lot of people do have that about overlockers. It's like scarier with the 4 threads, but they really do a great job. So inside, the easy lower looper threader just here, and we'll see how that works when we actually thread it up, but it does make a big difference. There's a few models in the range of this style of overlocker with Juki, but with this one in particular, I think that they've put the dials on the outside as well, which makes a big difference compared to the 644. And with that lower looper threader as well, it is a great little machine. Really well built, you can feel the quality, nice and quiet, does a great job. Let's have a go at threading it up, because I want to show how easy it really is to get to grips with these. There is even a little diagram here with reminders of how to do it as well, if you do ever get stuck, but I know people do struggle sometimes with the visuals, so if we do a practical demonstration, hopefully it'll just demystify overlockers for you. We're going to start with the lower looper thread, sorry, the upper looper thread, the blue one. I've got these all colour coded obviously, so that it's really easy to be able to see where our threads are and what each one is doing individually. But you'd obviously use just like one colour normally for your project. They snap into these guides here, and I'm just following everything that's got a little blue dot on. So this then comes down and around underneath this dial, and with these dials you do just have to pull them in to make sure that they're round that tension disc correctly. But you can feel it, you can feel that there's tension applied to that thread into everything else that's got a little blue dot. You will need a pair of tweezers, but these are supplied with the machines. Every overlocker comes with a pair of tweezers in order to really easily slot into those guides. The last one at the top, and then through the eye of that upper looper. So that's one looper done, and then the lower looper with the red thread, this is kind of the one that is most awkward to actually thread, but with that easy lower looper threader it makes it so simple. So but if you haven't got that, then it is a little bit more awkward, but certainly not impossible. And again, just tug it into that dial and following all the little red markers this time. So now we'll get to this point here, we've got the red marker there. Just going to make sure that the lower looper head is all the way over to the right hand side, which it is, and I'm going to flick down this lever here, and then I'm going to tuck the thread behind that little guide and flick it back, and that has then threaded up that back part of the looper for us, and that is one of the most awkward bits to do. But that's it, it's done. And again through the eye of the lower looper. And now this is a really important bit, and this is where a lot of where even I used to go wrong with this all the time, and it would cause so much heartache when trying to overlock. But if you could get this right, it's really key. And this red thread of the lower looper must lay on top of the blue thread of the upper looper. So it needs to go over the top there, and that is denoted in that picture there in the diagram, but not on all overlockers it says this. So if the thread isn't laying on top of it there and going underneath, which is very easy to do when threading it up for like the first few times, then you'll do a few inches of stitching and then the thread will snap, and it becomes really, really disheartening. And I think that's where a lot of people end up getting a bit frustrated with overlockers, but that is key to getting it right. So next to the needles, these are more just like regular sewing machine needles. Well, this particular model does take regular sewing machine needles, but they're much easier to thread as well. They're just, you know, more standard up and down, but through the tension disc as well. This is the green threads, this is the right hand needle. up and over, just following all the guides that have got this green colour code on it. And most overlockers do have that kind of colour coding system. As you can see throughout most of our range in the shop has got that system. There isn't a needle threader on here at all. You do have to do it by eye. You might find it easier to put the knife out of the way, so we can just pop that up there, give us a bit more room. Just make sure you don't get caught on anything along the way. And the yellow one, getting the left-hand needle. So this is going to be set up for a 4 thread overlock, which is a good place to start. You can always then remove needles if you need to do a 3 or a 2 thread. So once you've got everything threaded up and everything placed inside its guide, you can then close up that door there, have a quick check and just see that there's no, these haven't kind of come loose at all, the ones you threaded up earlier. If they're tucked around a bit of the chassis inside that they shouldn't be, that can cause tension problems. I've had that happen in the past, and you just need to just double check that that red thread is laying on top of the blue thread. We then tuck all of the threads underneath the foot, so they're all coming out to the left hand side, and they're going to put the knife back down, so that's just going to slot back into place, and then that's it, it's ready to go. We can check our settings. So our stitch length dial here, we've got that at the minute set on a very standard 2.5. The differential feed, we've got that on normal, which N for normal, absolutely fine for the kind of thing we'll be just doing a sample on. But we can talk a bit about differential feed in a moment. So this has actually got a safety mechanism built in, where if the door's open, the machine won't go. And that's because this little bit isn't pushed in. So that's another handy thing that you do get with the 654, a nice little safety mechanism there. But now, if I lower the foot down, and check all of our tensions are on 4, which is again a very standard setting. There we go. And we can see each individual thread there on the overlock. So we've got our red lower looper underneath, our blue lower looper on the top, blue upper looper, sorry, and then our 2 needle threads, the yellow and the green. So you can see exactly which one every single thread is doing its job properly and giving us a lovely stitch. So a bit more about differential feed, which is probably a little bit of a complicated thing with overlockers. You never know which way quite to turn it. But basically there are 2 sets of feed dogs underneath the presser foot here, and they can actually be, the ratio can be adjusted using this knob here. So you can actually bring it in or out, and because every fabric reacts differently to the overlocker itself. So if you are struggling, if the machine is spreading out your fabrics, such as really stretchy like viscose jersey, you want to actually bring that to about 1.5 or 2 depending, and that's going to make the one set of the feed dogs move faster. It's going to make it move 1.5 times faster or 2 times faster than the other set in order to bring in that fabric. Similarly, if it's puckering it up, something very fine, and you need to spread it out, you want to turn it the opposite way to about 0.7. And that is hopefully demystified one of our fairly basic but still very high quality overlockers. And yeah, I hope that's helped some of you out today. Don't forget to check the YouTube channel for other videos and also to give us a like, tell us what else you want to know about these machines, and if there's any other questions that you may have that we can help with.